Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, we will discuss about composition of functions and also the inverse of a functions. So remember, when we have a function, then we have two things. First, there is no hole in the domain, and that also pass the vertical test. And what happen if we have two functions? And is there any relation about them? Let's discuss about that. And also when we have another relation from the codomain to the domain, then is it always a functions? Okay, let's try to answer all of that. Okay, first we discuss about the composition of functions and what is the motivation. As I mentioned before, then we have for example, we have two functions here, our f and our g. And let's see, our a here is 1 2 3 and 4, then 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Then we see here f is a map from a to b and g is a map from b to c. And when we see these requirements, then we have 1 go to 6, then 2 go to 5, and then 3 go to 7. Okay, then 4 go to 6. Another one, the g, 5 go to 8, then 6 go to 9, 7 go to 10. So it is natural to ask whether can we make a function directly from a to c. Okay, because when we see, we also can make this relation 1 and 8, and then 2 go to 5, 5 to 8, then 2 to 8, then 3 to 7, 7 to 10, so 3 to 10. Then we have what is it, 5 5 8, 1 to 6, 6 to 9. Sorry, this one should be go to 9. Then 4 to 6, 6 to 9, so 4 to 9. Okay, so the question is how to make a relation from a to c, and then is it a function? Then when we see, if the domain of the second function is the codomain for the first function, then we can make a direct relation, something like this. And we can see this directly. This one is a function. Very clear, because when we make another function, maybe h here from a to c, then we have the domain is a, and then the codomain is c. Then it's clear that every element of a, it appears as the first coordinate in here in our relation, in our h. And then the c is the codomain, so it should be fine. So we have our h is a function. And if we draw this one, so we have this from a to c, then we can make this diagram. Okay, so it should be clear when we have this kind of relation, then this is a function. And this is the motivation about the composition, and this is the definition. If we have f from a to b, then g b to c, we define the composition of g with f written by GOF. Then we have this new function from a to c, and what is the definition? So we have this pair a will go to g FA. Remember, FA is in B, so we know this, right? G from FA. Okay, and this one clear, this one is in A cross C, then A is in A, and we can see that our GOF will be always a function. And this definition is makes sense because remember again, FA is in B. One more. And when we check the codomain, so see the codomain of f is b, and then if the codomain is not the same as the domain of G, codomain of f and the domain of G, they are not the same set, then it is not a composite function. Okay, so we should have the same set here. And what is another example? When we have this A, this B, and this C, we make this function f and g. Remember here, f a to b, then b to c, so the same set here. And we define our f is here, g is here. Then we can calculate GOF. What is GOF? So 1 go to 6, then 6 go to 9. So we have GOF is 1 to 9. Okay. And then 2 go to 5, 5 go to 8. So 2 to 8. And then what again? 3 to 7, 7 to 10, 3 to 10. And the last one is 4 to 6, 6 to 9. So 4 to 9. So this is the reason why we have this GOF. And to make it more clear, we go to the next example. And when we have this f, fx is x plus 1, then g, the same thing, so r to r. So we can see that the codomain of f is the same as the domain of g. Then what is GOF? So GOF is gfx. Fx is x plus 1, right? So we have g from x plus 1. So x plus 1 here will map to x plus 1 square. Okay, so this one by g. But when we try to see another way, because the codomain of g is the same as the domain of f, so we can find f of g. What is it? F from gx right here, f of gx. Then we have fx squared. X squared here will go to x squared plus 1 with f. And it should be clear that they are not the same function, because if we try to expand it, x squared plus 2x plus 1, then in general, they are not the same function. So we see that the composition is not commutative. And it's a bit different lah if we compare to maybe the multiplication of number, they are commutative. Then the addition, or maybe another thing lah, addition of matrices, that's also commutative, but this one is not commutative. So it is like maybe another example is the multiplication of matrices. That's also not commutative. So remember, if you see the composition function, please check the order, because the order matter. And what are the properties of it? If we have 4 sets here, A, B, C, and D, then F from A to B, G from B to C, H from C to D. So we have 3 functions. Then we have here, this function is from A to D, should be clear. This function also from A to D, and they are equal. And this usually called as associative. Okay. And why is it important? Because when you learn about mathematics, you're learning mathematics little bit deeper. Then there are some topics like group theory, and you will need the associativity there. So this kind of property is important in mathematics. And how to prove it? Really easy. How to prove? We have 2 same function. So take any object in the domain, then prove that the map is the same. Okay. So take every A in A. We take any. Then from here we have it's clear by definition from here, correct? And then we get this one also by definition. So because we have the composition from G and F, this one is more clear if we write like this. Okay, so GOF from A, more clear. And we have here, it should be clear enough, then by definition again. So it is easy to see that, yeah, the composition of function is associative, or should be simple. Okay, and remember, when we take the composition, it is not commutative. So yeah, but it's okay. And let's see here, we have A, B, C, and D, this diagram. Then we have a function from A to B, B to C, C to D. And when we have this A will go to here, maybe B here, then C, and then D here. So A will go to B, B go to C, C go to D. And from here, we have GOF here from A. Yeah, this one will be equal to D. And if we use this way, we have HOG here, OF here, A. Then this one also go to D. Okay, so this way is this, and then this way is this. Okay, should be clear. And yeah, we have this fact, and we call it associativity, as I mentioned before. And we have the definition of an identity function. What is the meaning of identity? Identity means we map a object to itself. So for example, when we have A to A, so identity of A is A will be mapped to A. So this one is the identity function. For example, from here we have 1 1 2 2 3 3, right? So yeah, whatever we have here, so 1 go to 1, 2 go to 2, 3 go to 3. Or if we have this B, R S T U V, then R go to R, then S go to S, T go to T, then U go to U, and V go to V. So this is the identity function. And we can see that the identity, if we use the composition function, becomes the another function. For example, when we have this IDB, we use here in F, and we get F. Or if we have F with identity, we make a composition function, we still get F. Okay, so it is like when you have a number, for example, 5 plus 0 is equal to 5, and 0 plus 5 is equal to 5. Okay, so we have this kind of property. Or if you are not convinced enough, it is like when you have a matrices, then A times identity matrix, you have this one is I, and then I times A is also A, right? So it's like this. And how about the composition of injective and surjective function? Then we have this property. If we have F from A to B and G from B to C, this one, if this one is injective, then F is injective. Why? Because remember, when you have GOF is injective, then here GOF, so we have A, B, C, right? Go here, right? GOF is injective. So from here to here, we have one-to-one function. Okay, so that's only can be happen when everything here only go to here and also one-to-one. Because yeah, if you have something like this, go to one element here, then yeah, this element, because it is a function, it should go to a single unique here. So we have from here and here, we go to the same object. So we have no choice, so it should be injective. But yeah, it is not two-way. I mean, when we have this one is injective, then we have from left to right. Okay, this one is correct. This one is injective. But for the converse, yeah, it is not true. Okay, remember, it's only holds for one way. Next, if GOF is surjective, then G should be surjective. Why? Because, yeah, again, yeah, we have this one F, then this one G. If our G is not surjective, and GOF is surjective, right? GOF is surjective, then what we can do, every objects in C, they have, yeah, something lah from A, right? So this one go to here, everyone, okay? So don't know. That means if we only see this G, then yeah, every objects in C also have a partner lah in B. That's why we have G is surjective. And once more, it's only one way. So only from left to right. If then, okay? So it's not a B implication. It's only a implication. And next, if F and G are injective, then the composition should be injective. Must be, yeah. Why? Because when you have, imagine you have 1-to-1, then this part is 1-to-1, which means a single here will have a single partner in B, and every partner here have a single partner in C. So clearly we can see that every object in A have a single partner in C. Okay, so this one very clear. And then if F and G are surjective, then yeah, should be this one is clear from here. So remember, if you have F and G are surjective, then every elements here, it has a partner in B. Okay, so I mean every partner here have partner, yeah, correct. Every elements in C have a partner in B. Every element in B have a partner in A. So if we make GOF, then yeah, we have every elements in C have a partner in A. So this one is obvious. And next, what happen if we see the, yeah, another way lah. If we have F from A to B, how about the relation from B to A? So the relation from B to A, we call it if the relation is R, then we call it R inverse. What is R inverse? If R is here, so A comma B, where A comma B in R, so we have R inverse is B comma A. So this one, yeah, defines it well. And yeah, we want to reverse the order. And for example, when we have this A and this B, it's clear that our relation here, our R, is a function. Why? Because we have no whole here, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and 4, 4. And then, yeah, we also pass the vertical test, right? Very clear. But yeah, if you check, if we try to reverse the directions, then yeah, we can see here 3 has no partner, right? So it doesn't appear in the first coordinate of R inverse. So very clear, R inverse is not a function. Okay, another evidence is, yeah, you see 2 appears twice. So very clear that it is not a function. That's the reason. And what is the property? And we have, if F is a function, G is the inverse of relation. The B implication here is hot. So we have G is a function from B to A if and only if. So the necessary and sufficient condition for G become a function is yeah, f should be a bijection. Why? Because yeah, remember when we define a bijection, we see the reverse direction lah. So for example, if f is injective, then the reverse is well defined in certain sense, but maybe have some holes. That's why the inverse is not a function. And another thing, when we define surjectivity, so surjective functions, then we see that every element, so yeah, there is no hole in the codomain. So if we merge both, we have no holes, plus we have passed the vertical test. That's why that's the main reason why this is the necessary and sufficient condition for the inverse of a function becomes a function. For example, if we have this f 2x plus 1, it's clear that it is a bijection because we have a linear function, and linear function is a bijection. Should be depend on the gradient, but this one the gradient is 2, so should be okay. And we have this f, and what is the inverse? We have y is equal to 2x plus 1, so y minus 1 is equal to 2x, then x is y minus 1 over 2. That's why we have this f inverse is x equal to y minus 1 over 2. That's how to calculate the inverse. So when you have a function, then the general way to find the inverse is when you have fx is equal to y, then try to see y is in x. Okay, so try to represent it y in x. That's it will give you the inverse relation. So to make it more clear, we see another example. We have this fx is equal to x squared, and if we see the inverse is square root of y, and it's clear it is not a function. Why? Because again f is not a bijection, because if you see f x squared, right, so you have nothing here, so it's clear it's not surjective. And from here, and when we go to the inverse, then it's clear it's not well defined also. So that's why the inverse relation is not a function. Should be okay. Because of this is the reason. Okay, next, when we have this, so this one from r minus 2 is clear, because when you put 2 here, then this define is not defined. That's why we should exclude number 2, and this one also never reach 1, the value. So the codomain is r minus singleton 1, and we can prove that it is a bijection. It's not difficult, because you only have to prove 2 things, the injectivity and surjectivity. That's should be okay. And when you see the inverse relation, then it's become a fractional function again, and this one is also a function. So it's easy to see and the proof are almost the same, so they are analogous. Okay, and how about the composition of inverse function? So we have the inverse of inverse go back to f. Why? Because when you have f from a to b, okay, so you bring x to fx, then the inverse, so f inverse will bring fx to x. Okay, so when you see here, and then you try to find the inverse of this, then should be f itself. So that's the reason why f inverse is equal to f. So again lah, go back to the definition of the equality of two functions. Okay, and then the inverse, if it is a bijection, then yeah, it's clear the inverse is a bijection also, because yeah, one-to-one correspondence. If you draw a diagram, should be more clear, because you have one here and you have unique, then you go back, then you also have unique, and you have no hole here, no hole here, then yeah, both you have no hole. So the inverse also a bijection. And how about this? Yeah, it's clear, it becomes identity y, because it transfer from x to fx, then go back to x again. So yeah, that's the same thing with identity function. And this one also, because you transfer from fx to x, then go back again to fx, right? So yeah, it must be an identity, but this one is identity in B, because you proceed from here to here, then go back here with the same thing. Okay, I think that's all for this video. Hopefully it will be useful, and yeah, you can follow the explanation. And yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.